Thomas Paine, Thomas Paine, Thomas Paine, Sam Adams, Sam Adams, Sam Adams, Benjamin Franklin, Benjamin Franklin, Benjamin Franklin. These men spoke up for what they thought was right. From their courage came such documents as the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution of the United States. From their willingness to speak what was sometimes unpopular but right, we enjoy such liberties as freedom of speech, the right to keep and bear arms, and freedom of religion. There are those who still wish to oppress our freedoms, and there are still patriots willing to stand up and defend life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Men like Zeb Bell, who honor our founding fathers and what they stood for. It's now time for Zeb at the ranch, speaking up and defending your freedoms. Brought to you by Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers and all of the other great advertisers on the program. And now, Zeb Bell.
The following quote was taken by Lysander Spooner, American political philosopher, in 1885. Remember that, 1885. Here it is, quote, "To ban guns because criminals use them is to tell the law-abiding that their rights and liberties depend not on their own conduct, but on the conduct of the guilty and the lawless." How true. Good morning, everybody, and it is a good morning. God bless you, and Zeb at the Ranch. And right now, here's Kate Smith, and God bless America. Followed by a patriot with our Pledge of Allegiance. Please call me. Good morning. And a good morning to you and yours. And I've got so much to tell you about this morning. Good morning, Zeb at the Ranch, and of course brought to you by our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations serving you with a get ready for a road trip. They've got all your tires. And don't forget some of our great advertisers, including Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation, 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley, helping you get back to being you. Let's go to the phone line right now and have our Pledge of Allegiance. Good morning.
Good morning. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Jerry, thank you so much for the pledge, and God bless you for your calls earlier. I appreciate it, my friend.
You bet. May the Lord bless you and your whole audience.
Appreciate it. Thank you, my friend. Right now, it is time for the weather, and the weather brought to you by Roger and the crew at K&R Rental. Good morning, 256 South, 600 west of Hayburn. Right there on the Burley-Paul Highway. Couldn't miss it if you wanted to. Great big front yard, and they've got all the tools and equipment you need. Power rakes, rototillers, all the way down to post hole diggers. Everything you need right now this time of the year at K&R Rental in Hayburn on the Burley-Paul Highway, 678-3122. Right now, here's the weather.
I apologize, sir. For some reason, it's not wanting to fire off.
Well, why don't you go ahead and check it out real quick, and then let me know immediately when you have the weather available, okay?
Of course, sir.
Out of memory, I can tell you that we may have some high cloudiness today, and unsettled weather is going to stay in this area with thunder bumpers probably in the later afternoon hours. And we'll see exactly what the weather is going to be as soon as we can get that weather forecast to play on the air. But we want to say a big thank you to K&R Rental at 256 South, 600 west of Hayburn. And the number to call Roger and his crew that get there early in the morning at 7 a.m., 678-3122. Merv May, come on in here.
All right, hey, good set of steer calves there. Here to get all the 31, 1.5, 31, 1.5, 32, 2.5, 3.5, 134, 4.5.
And Merv May's gone for a minute, but by golly, we'll tell you today's sale day at the Burley Livestock Sale Yard, 1100 Occidental Avenue in Burley. Number to call for cattle consignments and sale information, 678-9411. It is the sale that works for you with Merv May, Cade Rogge, and Lance Udy. Today, they've got about 150 head of really good ripping calves from Declo in 500 to 600 pounds. Don't want to miss these. They're dandies. And then butcher cows coming in from TLK Dairy, Funk Dairy, P-Bar S Dairy, Acme Dairy, Antelope Hills Dairy, and a great line of trailer line run of cattle coming in to the Burley Livestock Sale today, starting at 10:30. Don't miss it. It is the sale that works for you. Number to call, 678-9411. Burley Livestock Sale Yard, today's sale day at 10:30. Merv, sell those steers.
All right, he gets the steer calves there. Here to get $31, 1.5, 31, 1.5, 32, 2.5, 3.5, 134, 4.5, 5.5, 5.5, 130, 550, 135, 1.5, $7.35. Zeb Bell, get the bottom again.
I appreciate it, Merv. Thank you. I'm going to tell you a little bit of some personal notes here in just a moment, so stay tuned. I also want to say thank you to Ramsey Heating and Electric at 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley. We'll be talking to Rita about 9:30 this morning. And the number to call, 678-0459. They open the doors at 7:30 in the morning till 5, Monday through Friday, for all, and this is not a brag, it's a fact, all of your heating, cooling, and electrical needs. Get a hold of them today. The best have been for nearly 60 years. Wow. Ramsey Heating and Electric in Burley, 678-0459. And first of all, my apologies to all the lunch bunchers. Now, I know you were in anticipation of having lunch bunch today, but with all the personal things that have come up in both Deanne and my life over the last week, we are not going to have, I'll repeat it again, have lunch bunch today. No lunch bunch today at Denny's restaurant. Now, we will reschedule as soon as we kind of get our lives back in order, so bear with us. But you can stop in anytime, all the time, for breakfast, lunch, dinner, anytime at Denny's Restaurant. America's Diner, 611 North Overland in Burley, and another location at 291 Pole Line Road in Twin Falls. Great eating, super nice people serving you at Denny's Restaurant, America's Diner. Okay, I want to get into this a little bit. First of all, and if I kind of choke up a little bit and get teary-eyed, I don't care. That's the way I am. I wear my emotions on my sleeve. I want to thank everyone for all their well wishes, their worries, and their concerns about Deanne's health. We learned that she had to go in for some, let's say, exploratory surgeries, and that was taken care of yesterday. And she is resting comfortably this morning in the hospital, hopefully to be released maybe later on this morning. And we just hope and pray everything, and I mean that, the pray part. We are praying that everything will come out in our favor. But I want to thank you. You people out there in the listening audience, I can't even begin to mention names, nor would I even try. The phone just kept ringing and ringing and ringing, and I thank you so much for all your kind thoughts about us, and especially my lovely wife, Deanne. So thank you for all your kind thoughts. You have no idea how much it means to me. Calls welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. And I know that one other being that cannot wait to have Deanne come home, and that's Ruby. I don't think Ruby likes being under the care of me. Caller, I'll be right with you. Wheels, what have you got?
I was just going to let you know that we got the weather taken care of, so everything should be all is well.
All right, I tell you what, let me do this commercial, and then we'll do a quick weather, and then take that caller, all right?
All right, sir.
All right, stand by. I want to remind you, too, about Pomerell Place, a place for senior living, and you don't want to be alone if you're a senior. You don't want to have to worry and fret every day about safety hazards of being alone, bad nutrition, I mean ugly nutrition. You don't even want to know what I've tried to make for myself the last couple of days. Ooh, bad. Anyway, and missed medication, well, listen, Pomerell Place offers the ability for seniors to maintain their independence both safely and comfortably. Call them and find out more. 677-8212. That number again, 677-8212. They're located at 1301 Bennett Street in Burley. Pomerell Place, a place for senior living. Wheels said that he had the weather, and so with our friends, of course, sponsoring the weather, K&R, we appreciate them. We're going to have Wheels right now. Hit the button.
For some reason, it's still not going off. Let me talk to Gina again.
All right, we've got to get that on there, Wheels. Thank you. And let's take the caller first. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
About the weather, I know nothing.
Well, why don't you just say you're smiling, and so there's going to be radiant sunshine all over your front yard this morning?
I think it will be.
Okay.
And may it shine at your house especially.
I hope so. When Deanne gets home, it's going to shine a lot brighter. Thank you, Keith.
You know, this news, I am getting pretty tired of this royal wedding, and it's not till Saturday. It's just dominated the airways and the TV, and the only reason why they're doing this, Zeb, is to distract us from what's going on in North Korea and Iran and some of these other places, or some of the good news that Trump has been putting out.
Let me just tell you, Keith, I just tell you this much. I'm going to make two columns. The first column is don't give a darn. The second column is, oh, I want to hear more. Well, let me tell you something. All the check marks are going to be in the don't give a darn column, because I couldn't care less hearing about Prince Harry and Meghan Markle getting married. I couldn't care less about what the wedding cake looks like. I couldn't care less about how they polished the royal carriage. I couldn't care less about where they're going on a honeymoon. When we are living on the precipice of war and economic problems and everything else, and we spend time with this idiotic media, and they are idiotic, worrying more about somebody across the pond in England getting married. What in the heck is going on here?
Well, did you see those shoes she's wearing?
Don't even go there.
It's going to be something.
I couldn't care less if she had athlete's foot. Thank you very much.
I hope I got your day started.
Yeah, you did. You got my blood pumping. Keith, got to run. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. I am so upset about this garbage. And they spent a whole segment on TV this morning. I am not making this up, about how visitors from America going to the royal wedding should conduct themselves and the proper mannerisms of going in the early stages of the afternoon for tea and crumpets. What? I mean, this is absolutely insane. Just sit down and drink the doggone tea if you want it, and eat your crumpets and go back to work. Who cares about whether your pinky finger is held at a certain 45-degree level? Holy moly. Caller, I'll be right there if I don't blow up first. Dino Septic Service over in Rupert. My goodness, septic tanks pumped. We're going to have Ken on the phone with us later on this morning. Water and sewer lines installed, septic inspections, liquid waste removal, all of this and so much more by people that absolutely are serving you, doing a job you don't want to do. Absolutely. Fast, fair, friendly service. Give them a call. 436-6526, or in Burley, 678-1638. Dino Septic Service. Don't you forget they've got that big truck, Smells Cargo, on the way. Dino Septic Service. Caller, good morning, and thank you for your call.
Good morning, Zeb. It's sure great to hear your voice in the morning.
Well, thank you, sir.
Headed down the road.
Thank you.
I got your little bit on tea and crumpets. I'd rather have donuts and coffee and talk with a good friend.
Oh, absolutely.
What other people think of me.
Absolutely. I don't know why we're wasting the time on the royal wedding. I don't care if they run off a horseback and elope at the county courthouse. I couldn't care less.
Well, then, how's your dear wife doing? I hope she's doing great.
I think she's listening.
God bless for you.
Well, I thank you for that, Riley. She's resting comfortably in the hospital this morning. I talked to her about 20 minutes ago before I went on the air, and am I looking forward to seeing her later on today. And also, I can tell you one thing, Ruby, our little dog, I don't think Ruby likes me taking care of her.
You feeding her soda crackers and rice cakes?
She'd better be thankful if she gets that.
I'll catch you later, buddy.
All right, buddy. Thank you very much. Calls welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. We have, right here in Magic Valley, a Hillary syndrome that has affected at least one politician, and I'm going to talk about that right after I do this commercial. Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation, 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley, with Nick Greenwell and his very knowledgeable, capable staff of serving you and trying to get you back to being you. Absolutely. And they've got the only hydrotherapy pool of its kind in this area. Oh, man, that is a blessing. Call for an appointment today at 678-1191. That number again, 678-1191. They are the best. Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation, 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley. You call them today. Now, I want to get into this story a little bit because I was not on the air yesterday and could not respond to the various winners and or losers politically in the primaries. But I want to say this. I picked up the newspaper yesterday morning while I was waiting in the hospital for Deanne, and I read the paper from front to back, and I was absolutely appalled at one story that stood out as a glaringly negative attitude by one, thankfully, former politician. As I said a moment ago, we have the Hillary syndrome right here in the Magic Valley. I was shocked. I really am shocked at the low-class, no-class remarks in the paper. After the election for the Jerome County Commission, Kathy Romer made some pathetic sour grapes remarks. And I think it's a denigration to the new county commissioners board. I think it's a denigration to the people that are on that board, and I think it's a denigration to the citizens of Jerome County. The I lost, but I hate and will get even attitude was glaringly obvious in remarks that were put in the paper by Kathy Romer. And I will say this, I'm not a resident of Jerome County, but I'm certainly glad she never represented me as a Jerome County commissioner. She said, and here is an exact quote, I'm not leaving anything out or adding anything to it. According to the remarks in the Times News, I have served well for the past 10 years, doing the very best for Jerome County citizens. And as long as Ben Crouch agrees with everything that Commissioner Charlie Howell says and does, he will be fine. If he does not, then he will have a vendetta against him, as I have. Repugnant. Absolutely repugnant and amateur remarks by a person that had served for the Jerome County Commission and, thankfully, now is gone. Now, the difference in attitude and remarks, in the same story about the commissioners, Roger Morley lost to John Crozier. And here's the remarks that Roger Morley made. He said, quote, John will be a great commissioner. He'll do a fine job. Look at the difference in political atmospheres and also really taking the high road. Roger Morley took the high road, and Kathy Romer absolutely groveling in the barrel pit. And quite frankly, she's only casting a pall on the election and also denigrating a good friend of mine, Charlie Howell. I've known Charlie, and I'll say it right up front, I've known Charlie for over 30 years. And I've known Roger for a long time. And you don't have that kind of an attitude and serve the public. Quite frankly, I'm glad she's gone, and hopefully never to return to politics. Calls welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Is there such a... Roger Morley hit it right on the head. Roger Morley hit it right on the head. He said in regards to his losing to John Crozier, he said, John will be a great commissioner. He'll do a fine job. That's first class. That's the high road. And then the other example by Kathy Romer, Disgusting. Give me a call, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. I'd like to hear from you, so give me a jingle on the landline, and we'll talk about anything you want to talk about. Don't leave me hanging this morning. I got to be honest with you that I did not have a lot of time for preparation of this morning's program, so your calls and thoughts will be appreciated. It's been over a year. Over a year. Think back a year ago today as to what you were doing, what you were trying to do, and what you had accomplished. Well, it's been 1 year exactly since they started the Mueller investigation of the Trump campaign and the Trump presidency and possible Russian collusion. And what do they have a year later? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Nothing to incriminate or point a finger of guilt at all at President Trump for anything. They have spent millions of your dollars and mine. Yes, our tax money, our tax dollars for nothing. Absolutely nothing. And the very dim-bulbed Democrats say, well, now, wait a minute. We've got some other avenues to approach here. Oh, boy, we got to keep going. For what? Give us a little seed of information. What are you looking at? What are you looking for? What do you hope to find? What do you hope to achieve? And right now the answer is nothing. Do you mean to tell me that in a year's time, some of the quote-unquote best investigators in the country, in the United States, can't find anything? I'll back up again and say that again. The best investigators in the country can't find anything in a year? This has turned into nothing more than a witch hunt from the Democratic Party because of an I hate Trump. I don't care about the American public. I hate Trump. I'm going to go after Trump. I'm going to keep spending money on Trump. And no matter what it takes, we're not going to quit. That's the attitude of the dim-bulb Democrats. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Yes, good morning, Zeb. All this crap that's going on, it amounts to political assassinations. Can you just imagine if in the next couple of years the Democrats get into power, this country is done. There'll be no saving it from here on in.
No, I can't argue that.
Guy up there that finally is putting people to work. He's protecting our borders. He's trying to protect our borders. And all the Democrats want to do, and I call them destructocrats. They're no more Democrats as far as I'm concerned. They're trying to destroy it.
Yeah.
And the younger generation, we've got so much of many of these people out there, the millennials, that love the Democratic Party. And they don't know what's going to happen to them if the Democrats get into power again.
Tony, if I gave you, and you're a very sharp man, if I gave you $100 million this afternoon, and I said, now, Tony, what I want you to do is I want you to go out and get the brightest, the sharpest, and the most attack dog type investigators that you can find, and I want you to go find dirt on so-and-so. Do you mean to tell me that if I give you a check for $100 million and unleash the hounds of all this investigation that in a year's time you can't find something?
This is all a moneymaker. I'd like to know just how much it's cost the taxpayers for this guy to sit up there and smile while he's trying to destroy this country.
Absolutely.
One president that's got the cojones to stand up to all the enemies that we've got out there in the parts of our world. He's just trying to stand up to the ones that are trying to destroy us from inside this country.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. I think the Democrat Adam Schiff from California should have his picture put on a milk carton because he's lost, but he doesn't know he can't be found.
Well, I don't know, Zeb. If the Democrats would ever get into power, I just can't imagine this country slipping back into the Obama era again.
I could not agree more. I absolutely agree with you that we're on the precipice of falling into an abyss of democratic sleaze and filth. And quite frankly, a year's time and they can't find anything? Oh, come on. Hey, Tony, give Mary a kiss this morning and tell her I said hello.
Okay, Zeb. Thank you.
All right, my friend. Thank you. Caller number 2, I'll be right with you. Stand by. Don't forget Barry Equipment and Rental, Sales, Service, and Parts. And, of course, the locations are 159 West Highway 30 in Burley with Juan, 465 Addison Avenue West in Twin with Eli, and the Nampa location. And, boy, with all this rain and moisture and then a little sun, the grass is going right out of the ground. And you better check on the Walker mowers. Oh, they are the dandies. They've got all the Walker mowers at all the locations of Barry Equipment and Rental, along with all the equipment rentals, retail equipment sales. It's all there for you. Stop in and see my friends. They've been with us for a long time. God bless them. Barry Equipment and Rental, Burley, Twin Falls, and Nampa, serving you. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning, Zeb. First off, best wishes to you and your wife.
Thank you.
You know, that everything comes out fine. If I were to walk into your business, whatever, and say, well, I hear you've got some information for me, what would be the first thing that would come to your mind?
Well, I'd look at it, I guess what you're asking is, how would I view the information? I would say, number one, is this information that is accessible to me without being under the table and not being illicit or illegal? I would ask those questions.
Well, because this morning we heard on one of the other, we heard on the news that the Trump Jr.'s tapes have been released, and they didn't play it, but they says he said, "Oh, I hear you've got some information for me." Now he said he went about adoption, so maybe that's what he meant.
Yeah.
You have some information about Russian adoptions for me, but they want to try to twist it around and turn it into finding dirt on Hillary or whatever. Let's finish playing the whole quote. Let's just don't stop where it's convenient for us.
Well, let me ask you a question, and you're a very sharp lady. If somebody said they've got some information for you, I would say during political season, let's keep it right under the realm or umbrella of politics. I would say, okay, what is it? Now, number one in politics, if you can find out something about your opponent, it's always good to know more about the persona and past activities, so that you can, I'm going to lay it right on the line, you can use that to help propel yourself forth in the election. What's wrong with that? What's illegal about that?
No, I don't see that there, and you know, what goes on behind closed doors isn't necessarily what the public knows. Speaking of that, a personal former brother-in-law who beat the living daylights out of my sister, but you wouldn't have known it because everybody in town thought he was such a sweetheart.
Yeah. But your point is so well taken about, why in the world after a year? And, boy, I'd like to have somebody like you on that investigatory committee. After a year and all these millions, don't you think that maybe they could find something?
I don't think they found even a drop in the bucket or the ocean of anything. Well, no, they did find lots on the Democrats, but boy, let's not go there.
Yeah, and then they found out about some of the Russians, and they wanted to indict the Russians, but you know as well as I do, that's like spitting in the ocean. Are you ever going to get the Russians to come over here and go, oh, slap us on the wrist, we're bad people? I don't think so.
Yeah, right.
God bless you for your call, and thank you for your kind thoughts. I really appreciate that.
God bless you.
Thank you. Nice lady. Calls welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. A year. Think about it, a year. I mean, maybe the first, if you're appointed to an investigatory council, And you take the first couple of weeks to say, okay, I want this guy, I want this woman, I want this guy, this guy, this guy, this woman, that woman, on my board of investigators. And here's where we want you to go. Okay, that took 2 weeks. All right? You got them all assembled. And then for the rest of up till now, they can't find anything? Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning, Zeb.
Hi, Linda.
You and Deanne have been in my prayers, and I put you on a big prayer chain where you will have over 1,000 people praying for her, too, and you.
Well, it means a lot to me. As you know, I make no bones about it. I am not the person I need to be or want to be without my lovely wife. She is the number one, numero uno in my life, and so we wish and pray for her, but I certainly appreciate your kind remarks.
Oh, and Zeb, you are her strong supporter, and that will help.
Sometimes I got to be honest with you, Linda. Sometimes I find myself lacking in being the strong supporter that I need to be. I get to worrying about things, and Deanne seems to be the main rudder in the waving seas of the ocean to keep me going straight. So without her, I can't do anything.
Yeah, I know what you're saying, and yet I have a feeling that you hold her too. You hold her up. Just because you love her so much.
Well, she is. She's everything to me, and we're looking forward to positivity, and remarks like yours are very, very thankful. I appreciate that.
You are so welcome. Zeb, one day Dad and I were alone. She was either in the hospital or she'd gone to visit one of our relatives and help take care of one of her sisters. But Dad was fixing dinner, and he was opening a can here, and he'd open a can there, and he'd open another can, and I looked at him and I said, boy, we sure are eating high off the can, aren't we?
Linda, I'm telling you that when it comes to existing on my own, that I have run out of cereal, and I have run out of canned peaches. That's my diet.
Oh, God bless you, Sam.
Hey, listen, Linda, thank you so much for your remarks, and I'm sorry about Lunch Bunch cancellation, but we'll get it organized and get it back together.
God bless you. Take care.
All right.
And we'll keep you in prayer.
All right, thank you so much. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
You know, I can cook a little bit. Well, let's be real honest. Emphasis on a little. I'm not very talented. But anyhow, what'd you have for supper last night, Zeb? I had a bowl of Cheerios. What'd you have for dinner yesterday, Zeb? Well, I had another bowl of Cheerios. Anyway, calls are welcome. 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Hey, the Bennett boys are going to have an auction coming up this Saturday, the Nano Crespo Estate Auction in Gooding. It's going to be in Gooding starting at 11 o'clock this coming Saturday. Don't miss it. Look for the signs. It's at 2158 East and 1700 South of Gooding. Look for the signs. Lunch by the Cook Shack. Tractors and trucks, pickups, all kinds of good items for you. The Nano Crespo Estate Auction this Saturday at 11 o'clock. Bennett Boys Auction Service with Joe Bennett, my old buddy and his crew. No sale too big, no sale too small. The Bennett Boys, yep, they sell them all. Absolutely. All right, calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Kristen Gillibrand, a New York state senator. Now, I don't know how many of you heard her comments, but here is another classic example of hate men, blame men, denigrate men, and get rid of men in our society. I'm not making this up. I mean, this woman, off the charts, stupid, in some of her remarks about men, and she went off the rails yesterday in an interview saying, well, if women were controlling everything in a feminist society, there wouldn't have been a recession, and they should have renamed some of the names of businesses and had sisters instead of brothers, like Lehman Brothers and all that type of thing. She just went on and on and on about how women are so perfect, and they can control the world and shape the world the way it should be, and we don't need men. Oh, men, go away. Why, this masculinity thing, get rid of it. Stop the bus right there. Open the doors and let some fresh air in. I'm going to say this, and many of the women out in the audience might be totally offended, and they might just absolutely slam their coffee cups down. I hate that Zeb Bell. Well, that's all right. I honestly think that we need to get back in time the way we treated each other, the way men treated women, and the way women treated themselves and men. There are just two sexes, male and female. And for the absolute idiots that should be in an institution, for the mentally challenged, there are no other genders, male and female. We both, males and females, need to respect each other. I'd love to see it go back to the point where men opened the car doors and the doors, and they helped women with their chairs, etc. Oh, but these feminists, they just absolutely take their fingernails and scratch the wallpaper off the walls. Don't do that! I personally had this happen to me about 2 years ago. I've mentioned it on the air. I was walking into the Twin Falls County Courthouse to check on my driver's license. A lady came up the steps behind me. I opened the door, and she said, I do not need you to open the door for me. Now, with my German temper, I must tell you that I thought seriously of... No, I better not even repeat that on the radio. But that is an attitude that is absolutely a denigration of respect for both men and women. John Wayne, and you may not like this, but in the movie McClintock, I got to thinking about this morning. And, of course, he starred in many, many movies with his favorite co-star on the female side, Maureen O'Hara. Well, in the movie McClintock, John Wayne finally had enough. He finally had enough of Maureen O'Hara and her attitude of disdain for their marriage. And he basically told her, get in the wagon, we're going to the ranch. And no uncertain terms. But still, at that juncture, there was the showing of respect for each other in their marriage. And we've lost that. I don't care what anybody says, we've lost that. When you have idiotic feminists coming out on the television like Kristen Gillibrand, and she wants to run for the presidency. Holy buckets, wouldn't we be feeling great on that November morning to wake up and find out she was a president, and maybe she names Pocahontas from Massachusetts, Elizabeth Warren, as her running mate? Oh, my gosh. Katie, bar the door. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning. A little more humor to that McClintock thing is after he got done spanking Maureen O'Hara with it looked to me like a little shovel you get your ashes out of your fireplace, because it really rang out. And then after he got done, he handed that to his future son-in-law and says, keep it, you may need it.
I'm not advocating anything like that. I'd be a fool to say that, because absolutely I don't adhere to those kind of philosophies. But the reason I brought up the McClintock thing, John Wayne absolutely had enough. And in the movie, he hadn't done anything wrong. He hadn't done anything against his wife or their marriage. And it was absolute lunacy the way she was acting, and she needed to get her comeuppance. And at the end of the movie, she did. But they had a mutual respect and love for each other.
at the end, it was a great thing.
Yes, sir.
Because he'd thrown his hat up there 365 times, and it really ended well.
I'm not going to go into the hat throwing, but I'm going to say this. That movie came to mind this morning. But for these women to come out and just keep denigrating men, we don't need them in society. We don't need them in politics. We don't need them anywhere. That is absolute lunacy. And those kinds of feminists are doing nothing but harm in our society.
She's just trying to poise herself to run for president.
She's trying to poise herself to jump off a cliff.
I wanted to ask, excuse me?
I said she's poising herself to jump off a cliff without testing to see if there's a mattress or something soft below.
But, you know, just going back just a little ways in this investigation, Mueller's, what department funds that usage of the mess that he just created?
Well, you know, the Mueller investigation, I think, is through the Department of Justice and funded through the American taxpayer as funds for investigatory means. All I know is, Keith, that the money that is being spent, you tell me one thing, one item, and I'll back off. One item that they have found that shows, A, collusion, which, by the way, is not illegal, and any wrongdoing by the Trump campaign at that time or now the Trump administration. Tell me one thing, and then I'll shut up.
I can't tell you one thing, but I know if somebody's working for you and you tell them to do something and they don't get it done, what do you do?
I show them the door, and I regret the money I spent on them.
Absolutely, and that's what we need to do at this time.
Absolutely.
The Department of Justice is on his side.
Yeah, I tell you, the whole thing is nothing more. The whole thing is nothing more than a composite of fragmented parts that don't fit. I got to do a weather forecast, Keith. Thank you so much.
Is the word you're looking for.
All right, sir. Have a good day. Thank you. Caller, I'll be with you momentarily. Stand by, please. I would appreciate it. I got to get this weather in, and I'm assuming, Wheels, is the weather ready to go?
Yes, sir. We tested it and everything.
All right, buddy. Thanks. The weather brought to you by our friends at Mount Harrison Audiology, Dr. Pickup, Dr. Mitchell, and they absolutely care about your hearing health goals, and they can help you with any hearing problems. I urge you to stop over or give them a call. They're right behind the Minidoka Hospital, across from the emergency room, and the number to call for an appointment, 312-0957. Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids. You call them today. Here's the weather.
Kind of like a cookie-cutter weather forecast for the entirety of this week. Here's your weather forecast for Zebedee the Ranch, and today, like pretty much every other day this week, we're looking at scattered showers and thunderstorms in the forecast, mostly in the afternoon hours, partly sunny skies, with a high right near 72. Winds today out of the southwest, right around 8 miles an hour. Tonight, scattered showers and thunderstorms in the forecast, mostly cloudy skies with a low of 48. Tomorrow, pretty much the same as today. Scattered showers and thunderstorms, partly sunny skies with a high of 70. Overnight low of 47. Saturday, again, pretty much the same. Isolated rain showers and thunderstorms, mostly sunny skies with a high of 71. And Sunday, no change. 20% chance of showers and thunderstorms in the afternoon, mostly sunny, and a high of 73. That's your weather forecast for Zebedee the Ranch.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Weather forecast brought to you by Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids, and they are the best at what they do. So please get a hold of them today. They're dedicated to serving people with hearing loss of all ages. Number to call to make an appointment, 312-0957. Caller, thank you. You're on the air. Go ahead, please.
You're welcome, sir.
Hey, buddy.
Hey, I remember the Democrats screaming and hollering about all the money that was spent on Benghazi and how there was no there,
yeah.
and you're just wasting your money.
Yeah.
I haven't heard a one of them say about the money being spent on this witch hunt.
You know, may I say something here real quick? And caller number 2, don't hang up. We'll be right with you. You know who Richard Blumenthal is, don't you?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And remember his circumstances 2.5 years ago as to why he was absolutely put in the bottom of the barrel because he lied about his service in Vietnam. Remember that?
Yes, sir.
And now who is one of the faces that you see on the news all the time going after Trump, criticizing this administration and asking for, here's the word, honesty?
That's exactly right. They have no shame. They don't think American people remember anything. They don't think there's videotape or audio recordings. I mean, these people, they just think we're stupid.
Well, I looked at that last night when he was interviewed in the halls of Congress, and, I want honesty, and I demand honesty. I want the president to be forthright. And I sat there, and I was tired from sitting in the hospital all day, and I was taking notes from my program this morning, and I thought, Senator Richard Blumenthal, you are a waste of a three-piece suit. You lied in front of Congress and the American people about your involvement in Vietnam, and now you're asking for honesty. You are absolutely pathetic.
Exactly. They're such hypocrites. They want honesty, but they don't want it on their side. They want it on everybody else.
Blumenthal can't spell honesty.
They couldn't.
I got to run, Doug, but go ahead and give us your 15-second pitch.
All righty. Yeah, even with a dictionary, they couldn't spell it. Everybody, let's do what we can for our senior centers. Let's help them. And there's a raffle going on at Minidoka County Senior Center for a lawnmower, patio set, barbecue grill, and a picnic table. I have the tickets. They're $3 for $5. Stop by and get your chance to win.
Doug, I appreciate you. God bless you, man. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Caller number 2, you're on the air. Go ahead, please.
Oh, just a second ago, Keith brought up Pocahontas. And let me tell you something. I don't know if you noticed, and I'm sure you did, that this Paulette Jordan from Idaho, she's very attractive, she's well-built, she's articulate, and I don't know, but she's creating a stir, and her politics is out there so far that she don't belong running anything in our state, but as uninformed and as crazy as some of these young voters are, it's all about, rock star, whatever.
Randy, let me interrupt you there. You have hit on something that I think you're absolutely spot on. I do not trust this woman, Paulette Jordan. I do not want her as a governor of our state. She will be running with very negative circus of advertising and different people supporting her from even a lot of, I think, out-of-state money. I think she will be the Elizabeth Warren of the Northwest, and I'm very concerned, and I certainly hope that Brad Little has his act together.
Well, let me tell you something. The money is going to pour in from all over because, it started with Cher endorsing her, but now that they see her, she's going to be on CNN, MSNBC. She's going to be on everything.
Oh, yeah.
Fox.
Yeah.
And they're going to promote this like there's no tomorrow. And if they can beat out old, Little, and he better, I like Brad, but he's kind of a, maybe he needs to, sharpen his, his whatever. So, I just know we better not take her for granted. And all I can do is hope that somehow she gets sucked into the national scene. Not that would be good. But if she's 38 years old, she hangs around here, she's going to create something.
I could not agree more, and I think you've brought up a topic. Randy, that is going to be a main topic of conversation for months to come. I've got one more call and 1 minute left. Randy, God bless you. Thank you for your call. Caller, real quick, you're on the air. I've only got a minute.
I'll make it quick, but it's the senior junction today at the Burley Senior Center. We're having roast beef and baked potatoes and all the trimmings. Tomorrow's taco salad and apple crisp. We need everybody to come and get the best value lunch in town.
All right, Joe.
Junction.
I appreciate it.
And this Saturday we'll have another market out there to seniors. They did well last Saturday, even though it rained.
Okay.
Thank you. Have a good day, Jim.
All right, Joe Taylor, God bless you, man. Thank you very much. Support the Senior Junction on Overland in Burley. There's my friend Joe Taylor. Right now, I got to tell everybody about our Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. All 7 locations telling you that if you're getting ready to leave on a road trip, you've got the map all highlighted, and you say, we're headed for Aunt Martha's and Uncle Fred's. Well, they've got all the tires for you to drive safely there and come back home. All the different tread designs for your car, pickup, SUV, horse trailer, boat trailer, whatever. And they offer a free pre-trip safety check. They'll check the tire pressure, the brake components, the wheel alignment, tire wear, front end components, shocks and struts, batteries. They check it all out to make sure you drive safely at all 7 locations of your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. Lane and Rupert, Dave on Blue Lakes and Twin, Mike and Buell, Mike and Jerome, the Twist family in Paul, Daniel on Pole Line in Twin Falls, and Randy on Overland in Burley. Absolutely the best. Your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. Right now, we're going to get ready to run to the news. We'll have the Chamber Report, Cassia Regional Hospital, all kinds of good things coming up next half hour. Don't you miss it. Zeb at the Ranch. Wheels, all yours. Oh, my. Welcome back on a Thursday morning. Zeb at the Ranch. I'm Zeb Bell with our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. All 7 locations serving you. Stop in and see them today. Along with some of our great advertisers like Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation at 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley, helping you get back to being you. We're going to have our Chamber Report in just a moment. Don't forget, Rogge Auction Company. Hello, Cade and the crew. They're going to have the big Larry and Renee Maxson Living Estate Auction. That's going to be coming up on this Saturday, and don't miss it, starting at 11 o'clock at 3308 Oregon Trail Drive East in Kimberly. They're going to have trucks and automobiles, motorbikes, trailers, Yamaha Timberwolf ATV, Walker riding mower, all of this, John Deere riding mower. You don't want to miss this. Managed by Rogge Auctions. Call Cade and the crew at 431-0074. That number again, 431-0074. The Larry and Renee Maxson Living Estate Auction coming up this Saturday in Kimberly, managed by Rogge Auctions. Really, really good people. By the by, too, don't forget our friends at Hanson Mortuary with Joel Heward, his family, and his staff serving you. And serving is the key word, because when there's the passing of a loved one, you want help. You want someone there to help you and assist you in getting everything put together in a time that's extremely critical. And they always uphold the highest ethical standards with unquestioned integrity. Please call Joel and his staff at 436-5636, Hanson Mortuary, 710 6th Street in Rupert. And Joel Heward also serving you at Morrison Payne Funeral Home on East Main in Burley. Let's go to the Chamber of Commerce report real quick, and I'm not even going to hazard a guess. Every time I say who it's going to be, I'm wrong. Good morning, Minnecasia Chamber of Commerce. Nobody.
Sir?
Wales, where are they?
They're here. Sarah Seymour, I believe,
yes,
is going to be doing the interview, but let me go ahead and pop them up and see if she's ready.
All right, Sarah, if you're there, you better answer the phone. Time is wasting. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning. This is Sarah. How are you?
Well, wondering where you are.
Oh, well, we're just getting everything up and going today.
All right. What's happening over at the Minnecasia Chamber of Commerce?
Oh, we got lots of good things coming up. Our biggest event that we got on the calendar is our Scramble for Commerce coming up June 20th. And it's going to be at the Burley Golf Course, and that's a members-only event. And if you're interested in becoming a member, we would love to have you, and you can contact us here at the Chamber.
Okay. Now, what about, give us the parameters on, what about pre-entries or enter at the golf course, or tell us a little bit about that.
So that is a members-only event, and to register, you do need to contact the Chamber. We might have a couple spots left, but they usually fill up pretty quick, and we do have a waiting list. So if you are interested and you are a member, please contact us here at the Chamber. You can contact Jackie at 208-679-4793.
Now, are you a good golfer?
I have never been golfing.
Well, you better change, because it's customary that all the chamber directors have to go out and tee off first.
Oh, my goodness. Well, I better learn how to do that before June.
Okay.
Some other events we have coming up that very same day. We have a business after hours hosted by ISU Credit Union that will be at their location on Main Street from 4:30 to 6:30, and it'll be catered by Lulu's. So that'll be a great event. We'd love to have you there.
Okay.
You can also check out our new website. We have a website, an open house here at our chamber on June 12th. That'll be from 10 o'clock to 4 o'clock. We're also going to be having some ribbon cuttings that day for Sawtooth Floral and Post and Post picks. We'd love to have you there. It'll answer a lot of your questions about our website launch.
Let me ask you this. When you design a website for a Chamber of Commerce like the Mini-Cassia Chamber of Commerce, how do you get everything in?
It's an ongoing process, and we try and update it on a daily or weekly basis. But we've had some great support from Chamber Nation, our website designer, and it's really easy to update. So if you ever find any information that's incorrect or you'd like to add to our website, you can contact us here and we can do that for you.
Sarah, I've got to ask you, and Wheels over at the station, there's a little feedback there if you would, please. Sarah, you've been there for what, maybe a little better than a month. Have you wanted to close the door to the office already and turn off the lights and look out the window and go, whew?
I'd like to, but we have so much to do here. I just, no. Nope, not once.
Well, what about anything else going on that may be down the road a ways, but people should be informed about it?
Absolutely. We have our monthly luncheon coming up June 14th, and that'll be at Minidoka Memorial Hospital. And we're going to have a great speaker. The Monsanto Mining Project that's going to be coming to Idaho will be speaking, so you'll want to be there. You can get in touch with us here at the Chamber or just show up at Minidoka Memorial on June 14th and have lunch with us. We'd appreciate it.
Okay. And now what about the gift shop? I had a call last week, as a matter of fact, after the program, and they said, is your gift shop open every day? Tell us about that.
We are. We're open Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. We've got lots of little Idaho souvenirs and trinkets, and we're adding to our gift shop now. So if you have anything you'd like to see, get that over to us, and we'll add to it as well.
Well, that's what the question was. A lady called, and she said, I make things, kind of handcrafts and everything. How do I know if I can sell them at the chamber? And I said I'd ask you on the air what the protocol was.
Absolutely. So we're looking to carry more items from our members, so she can come in and talk to us about membership, and then we can make a deal about carrying some of her products. We would love to.
Okay. Anything else you want to highlight this morning, Sarah? You do a great job rapid fire. Anything else?
We just have lots and lots of things. Check out our website. Look at our calendar. We'd love to see you at all of our events. And if you ever want to, just stop in and say hi. We'd love to meet you.
Are you getting a lot of people from out of state already on their summer excursions, if you will, going through and finding out more about the area?
We are, not only out of state, but out of country as well. We've had lots of international visitors already this year.
Is there a dominant country or portion of the world where you see a lot more visitors than perhaps others?
Not necessarily. Recently, our visitors have been from the Netherlands type area, but we're
really
super excited to have everyone from all over the world.
Did they bring you some wooden shoes or anything?
They did not.
Okay. Sarah, why don't you tell everybody in my audience all the 973 ways they can get a hold of the Chamber?
Absolutely. Our phone number here at the Chamber is 208-679-4793, and that'll get each one of us here. You can visit our website, www.minicasiachamber.com. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, or just stop in the office.
All right, Sarah, you do a wonderful job, as do all the people over there at the Chamber. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a wonderful day.
All right, Sarah Seymour at the Mini-Cassia Chamber of Commerce, and they do a wonderful job promoting this area. Thank you very much. By the way, don't forget our friends at Ark Animal Hospital. They do a great job keeping your pets happy and healthy and your livestock healthy. They're a mixed animal practice, meaning big or small. They love them all and take care of them all. Absolutely. Ark Animal Hospital at 750 21st Street, near Connection Credit Union in Heyburn. The number to call, 678-1177. And don't forget, have proper identification for all your pets. And they've got the IDs over there at Ark Animal Hospital. And please spay or neuter your dogs or cats. Please, you don't want all kinds of unwanted little ones. It's not fair to them. And check that all out at Ark Animal Hospital, 750 21st Street in Heyburn, where they always say they have warm hearts for cold noses. Call them at 678-1177. Oh, and by the way, Airvana, defined as the ultimate level of comfort that you'll achieve with the presence of a new Lennox home comfort system. When you buy a new Lennox system at Ramsey Heating and Electric, you can get up to $1,700 in rebates. Airvana is just another way to make you feel better, so call Ramsey Heating and Electric today at 678-0459 or go to the website ramseysonline.com. Absolutely, you get a hold of them today. Let me see what else have I got to tell you about. Oh, yes, I don't want to forget this because every Tuesday, a lovely lady, a good friend of ours, Vicky at Vicky's Country Garden, at exactly 9:30 on Tuesdays, we have Gardening for Idiots. It's a program named after me. We've had it about 3-4 years on the air. And she being Vicky, absolutely can answer all your gardening questions, all your lawn care as far as maybe the renovation and home outside decorating, everything. She really is sharp. 21 years in business. Vicky's Country Garden at 185 South, 600 west of Paul, 438-5663. You get a hold of her today. Right now, my old compadre Wheels over at the main studio is all set to go as we learn more about our friends at Cassia Regional Hospital. Wheels, if you would, please.
People caring about you and your health care in the most professional and progressive ways. That's Cassia Regional Hospital, located at 1501 Highland Avenue in Burley. In a moment, we'll introduce you to just one of the many dedicated medical experts serving you at Cassia Regional Hospital. Today's program, right after this. Cassia Regional Hospital provides you and your family excellent health care answers and services. They're right here, close to home. That's right. Cassia Regional Hospital offers the latest technological advances in medicine, like their new oncology programs and telehealth, which uses electronic information and telecommunications to promote long-distance patient and clinical health care. Your friends, your neighbors. Cassia Regional Hospital, 1501 Highland Avenue in Burley. Quality care, close to home. Well, we're very fortunate to have the manager of the Rehabilitation Department of Cassia Regional Hospital on the program with us this morning, Tom Nilsson. Tom, good morning, sir, and tell us a little bit about what your duties are at Cassia Regional.
Good morning, Zeb. It's good to be with you. As a manager of the Rehab Department, I oversee 4 departments: our physical therapy, occupational therapy, speech therapy, and cardiac rehab units in the hospital. We have about 20 staff members that report to me, and I'm also a physical therapist, so I see patients as well. And we just work to give the best care that we can, and I work with our administration to make sure that things are moving forward the way we should, and we're giving the kind of care that Intermountain expects of us, and that we'd like to give our patients.
Well, it sounds to me, Tom, that you've got like some different categories of help. You mentioned speech therapy, cardiac therapy, and then perhaps after an accident or injury. Can you define those and tell us a little bit about how you go about treating each and every person in those different categories?
Well, speech therapists work mainly, obviously, with speech and helping them to articulate. They also do things like swallowing, those kinds of activities. I'm not a speech therapist, so I can't give you a definitive definition of all the different things that they do, but they do a wonderful job at helping to work on that aspect of the patients. If somebody's had a stroke, something like that, where it's affected their speech, they'll work with that. Our occupational therapy, they do a lot of hand therapy, helping them to function that way and to get back into the workforce. Our cardiac rehab, they do a lot of work to get people back into shape after having some type of a cardiac episode or event, and they do a wonderful job there as well. And then, I can speak more to physical therapy because that's what I am.
Mm-hmm.
But we do lots of different things here at the hospital, not only orthopedic types of therapy, working with the muscles, joints, those kinds of things after some kind of an accident or injury or surgery, those kinds of things. But we also do vestibular balance types of treatments. We do a lot of wound care, just a number of things like that.
Tom, let me ask you this. When I was a little boy, I had polio, contracted polio, and had to work daily with physical therapists, and that was way back in the early 50s. And I can't even imagine the difference in education, the difference in understanding that you as a rehab specialist have to learn. I mean, it must be changing every day, isn't it?
It is. And one of the challenges that we have is that, being in a smaller rural area, we see lots and lots of different things, and so it puts a little added pressure on us as therapists to try to keep up the best we can. And one of the benefits that we have being part of Intermountain Healthcare is that we have colleagues at other facilities, bigger hospitals and so forth that we can reach out to if we have questions or concerns because we don't see it, for instance, in your case, we don't see a lot of people who have had problems like that, or a lot of, congenital issues like that. But when those things come about, we need to reach out to our colleagues to make sure that we can get some help from them and do the best we can with some of the latest and advanced technologies and education on helping these patients get better.
When you say get better, let's talk a little bit about going from point A, which is the injury or the debilitative aspects of the muscles not working, etc., and then all the way to point Z, if you will. How do you know how much of a range of excellence they can achieve? I mean, how do you sit down and structure a program for them?
One of the things that I did, and I'm sure that most physical therapists do when they are in school, one of the things we had to learn was what is normal. Because, that sounds kind of funny, but there's a lot of variation of what's normal. We even discovered that as we worked on our fellow classmates. But as we identify what is normal, and then we look at our patients to see what their abnormalities are and trying to get them functional, sometimes we do have limitations. Sometimes, we can only get people back so far depending on the severity of their injuries and disabilities. But we, based on experience and lots of patient volumes, we know what we hope to achieve, and we'll work as hard as we can to get them to those levels. But it also, a lot is placed on the patients themselves because, we may see patients 2 or 3 times a week here in therapy for 45 minutes to an hour. There's a lot of time outside of therapy, and they need to take hold of the home exercise programs or whatever it is that we have them do, and they need to adhere to those and work at that, at those exercises to get them back to where they need to be. And some people take that very seriously and do very well. Some are maybe not as committed on that. It hinders them somewhat. So we try to encourage
You know, Tom, what you just said makes so much sense, but it's not just the patient, and it's not just you, the manager of the rehab department. I would imagine it also covers the family and the spouse getting involved to really understand the exercises and make that patient do the work at home, right?
But that's absolutely true. I mean, it is definitely a team effort. You can include their provider, their physician in that circle as well. There are lots of different variables that play into that. Sometimes patients will ask, well, how long is this going to take? And, we can give them a ballpark, but it's difficult to pin that down for sure because there are lots of factors. But the more people that are involved and are committed to that rehab, generally speaking, the better the outcomes are.
Absolutely. Now, if people have questions about what you can do to possibly help them and serve them, tell us how they contact you and learn more about your services.
Well, they can certainly call us here at the hospital in the rehab department and talk to any of the therapists, any of the different disciplines. We'd be happy to give them an idea of the things that we can do for them, and we've got a great staff here. They're very helpful, very people friendly, and eager to help out any way we can. But they can just call us right here at the hospital and ask for the rehab department.
I tell you what, folks, I have met some really, really great people at Cassia Regional Hospital, and this man is one of them. Tom Nilsson, the manager of the rehab department at Cassia Regional Hospital. Tom, thank you for taking the time to come on our program this morning.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure.
Tune in every Thursday at 9:18 right here on Zeb at the Ranch for more about the people and the healthcare services at your Cassia Regional Hospital, 1501 Highland Avenue in Burley. Quality care close to home.
Thank you very much. I always enjoyed meeting those people on the phone. They are absolutely excellent at Cassia Regional Hospital. Thank you so much. As I mentioned earlier this morning, I want to mention again, and holy smokes, did everything get turned up here all of a sudden. I bumped it with my elbow. The Larry and Renee Maxon Living Estate Auction is going to be managed this Saturday by Rogge Auction Company. Cade and the whole crew, don't forget, they're going to have trucks, automobiles, motorbikes, trailers, Yamaha Timberwolf ATV, and they're going to have a walker, riding lawnmower, all of this and so much more. Sale starts at 11 o'clock this Saturday morning, the 19th, and it's going to be at 3308 Oregon Trail Drive East in Kimberly. The Larry and Renee Maxon Living Estate Auction, managed by Rogge Auction Company. Really good, folks. And the number to call, 431-0074 for more information. There you go. Now, also, I want to remind you that Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More. Hello, Jeff Bronson. How are you? And the whole staff, they are so knowledgeable. They've majored in furnitureology. They know everything about it, and carpetology and all that. They've got degrees, and they can help beautify your home, spruce up for springtime and summer. Oh, my goodness, all the different carpets and the luxury vinyl planks, and, of course, don't forget all the furniture. Stay comfy and make your home really look nice. Sofas, love seats, recliners, all of it. All of it right there at a great location. Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More at 459 Overland in Burley. You stop in and see those really, really nice people today. And once again, don't forget to Airvana, defined as the ultimate level of comfort you'll achieve with the presence of a new Lennox home comfort system. And when you buy a new Lennox home comfort system at Ramsey Heating and Electric, you can get up to $1,700 in rebates. That's right. Airvana is just another way to make you feel better. So call Ramsey Heating and Electric today at 208-678-0459 or visit them on the line at ramseysonline.com. Oh, in just a few moments, we're going to get on the air with one of my favorite segments, and that's going to be Rita Ramsey, so stay tuned for that. And once again, I want to reiterate this. Due to the fact of some personal commitments and problems that came up this week, we are not, underline the word not, going to have Lunch Bunch. And I apologize to the Lunch Bunchers. I apologize to each and every one of you. But I can't be two places at once. And so no Lunch Bunch today. I am sorry. I hated to do that. Don't forget Cameron and Siemens Insurance, Highway 24 in Rupert. Oh, these people are dedicated. Oh, these people really are accessible and devoted to helping you with your life insurance, health insurance, retirement planning, employee benefits, all of this and so much more. All you need to do is have the initiative to give them a call at 436-4424. That number again, 436-4424. Cameron and Siemens Insurance in Rupert, Highway 24, serving you. And also over in that same neck of the woods or that part of the desert, don't forget Let's Ride, 270 Highway 24 between Rupert and the entire world. Oh, yes, beam me up, Scotty. They're all there. Open Monday through Friday, 9 to 6, Saturdays, 9 to 4. All the four-wheelers, all the side-by-sides, all the accessories. Wow, you open that showroom floor door, and you will see that this is the place to have fun. Yes, they sell fun, you better believe it. And that's Let's Ride, 270 Highway 24 between Rupert and the world, and also with the best doggone service department around. Let's Ride, where the fun is sold. Right now, on this Thursday, I get a chance to talk to a dear friend, and I mean that. Hello, Rita Ramsey. How are you?
Hello, I'm real good. Thank you.
Rita, I guess I'm going to start something off a little bit more lighthearted this morning. And during the news last hour at 9 o'clock, I took a little flack from a caller that was a little upset at me because I was disdaining the royal wedding. I don't give a rip about the royal wedding. I think it's a waste of time and media about much more important offers and items. What are your thoughts?
Well, there are other places where they can get that information. I've seen it all over the Internet. There's been specials on TV and everything else. So if that's what they're interested in, that's where they ought to go. As far as I'm concerned, it doesn't really matter to me who Prince Harry or anybody else is marrying.
Do you really care, as an American citizen, about how to hold your pinky finger when you drink a cup of tea?
No, I mainly consider it if I'm doing stuff lawfully and paying my taxes so I can stay out of jail.
Oh, Rita. Okay, so I guess evidently you're in tune with me that you don't give a hangnail about the royal wedding this Saturday.
No, not really. I remember when Princess Diana and what's-his-name got married and the big to-do, and there was lots of people who watched it live because it came on in the middle of the night and all of that. And it was kind of like, yeah, that's a fairy tale thing, and it's available, and there's satellite, and, I mean, you can watch it on the Internet probably as it happens. So there's so many more things ways that they can get that information now, and just doesn't really matter to me a lot.
One thing that does matter to me, and I talked about it in the first hour of Wheels, there's a little bit of feedback on the headset, please, is the wastage of millions and millions of dollars over an investigation that has gone on for one complete year today, the Mueller investigation. Nothing, underline the word nothing, to incriminate or point a finger of guilt at President Trump or then the nominee. I'm sick of this. What are your thoughts?
Well, I feel much the same way. Of course, last night there was a story came out, and I didn't hear it earlier in the day over the news waves, so I imagine it must have kicked out later in the afternoon, but I've heard a number of things since then, and that is that the FBI has released a story saying that they had some rogue people that were investigating Trump, and they were doing this all on their own, and this story from the New York Times goes on and on and on and tells all this stuff, and it seems like that it's an attempt by the leakers to paint the FBI efforts in a flattering way before the real facts come out, of which the real facts is that the FBI, probably from Comey on down to all of the people, even the people in the Justice Department that were in there during the Obama administration, knew what was going on. they went ahead with it. They were going to do it. They were positive that Hillary was going to win, and so it was kind of like, well, she'll win, and there won't be any repercussion for us going off the rails like this. And then when they didn't, and they were in the middle of it, now this Mueller thing and the Comey thing is all a thing for them to cover their hind ends from being in big trouble.
You're talking about big trouble. You scared me to death, lady.
I think that they're going to be releasing more information, and we will find out that this has been a witch hunt. However, it's quite interesting that I saw that there was an article earlier, or it was on a website, a news website, that said that Giuliani is saying, "Oh, imagine this! They aren't going to be able to subpoena." Well, let's see, what was it? They were not going to be able to indict. Let's see, I'll say it here. Giuliani said, they're not going to be able to indict the president. Well, hello, we know that. And besides the fact that Mueller can't do that anyway, that all has to go through the proper ways, which means him going through the Justice Department. And they're probably going to call for a vote on a impeachment. And so they're going to send that to Congress, and all of this is just to cover up their derelict duty in doing stuff that they shouldn't have been doing, and they have no reason to do it, and it's against the law to spy on American citizens without due reason, and they didn't have a reason.
Rita, one of the things that the American public doesn't seem to understand, and I wish more people would get involved and understand the legality or the non-legality of items and issues, you can't indict a president for anything until and after there has been an impeachment process. And so all these Democrats are completely foul of the lines of what needs to be done.
Well, this just shows you that they are so used to going around the law instead of within the law.
That's true.
That they think that they can do anything. And thank goodness for this Devin Nunes from California, who has been digging and digging and digging and found all this information. And, you know, I don't really know this status or what this scoop is. Everybody's giving Jeff Sessions a really bad rap, but I know that if the president didn't want him there, he wouldn't be there.
That's right.
And I also know that there's been a lot of stuff that he's been in the middle of. And then I also know that there is a possibility that he will come out with all of the stuff that needs to come out when it's time. And I think Trump's just waiting for this Mueller guy to just hang himself and all the people who they've done everything with, and it looks like it could be coming to a fruition maybe soon. So it really does bother me that they're spending the kind of money that they're spending, and they haven't found anything. But I think that once it comes out, we as Americans are going to find out that they were well outside the law. And as one of the people that was talking about it last evening on the news, it was on a talk radio station, said, I think we'll find out that this is probably the biggest scandal in American history.
Yeah. You know, I'm going to go back to what I said the first hour, and I'm going to revert the question back to you. If you were Robert Mueller, and you were appointed as the chief investigator of a panel to investigate possible wrongdoings by then the nominee, President Trump, and then afterwards his administration, and we gave you unlimited resources, we told you that you could appoint anybody you wanted on your investigatory panel. You can get the best investigators. You can have unlimited resources to hire this, get that done, etc. Do you mean to tell me that in a year's time you still have nothing to put in the dustpan and put in the garbage?
Well, that's the sad part about it is they have just done a lot of stuff they shouldn't be doing because they can't find anything. And there's nothing there, and so they're trying to bring all kinds of, well, let's get a hold of Paul Manafort's things, and let's get a hold of old so-and-so stuff, and they're looking back to stuff from 2005. It's like, hello, what does this have to do with the election? So they're well without. They're not in the boundaries that they're supposed to be in. They're just spending money, and I think it's basically a cover-up because when this other stuff comes out, it could prove really damaging to not only the FBI and the CIA and many other outlets and the former Department of Justice, but I think that we'll find out that there are, unless they just absolutely make somebody go for the fall and it's all over with, which I don't think will happen in lieu of what's been happening. I think that they'll find out that Hillary's hands are all over it, and so are Uma Abedin, and clear down to the Wiener Man, and President Obama, and Loretta Lynch, and all of them, even Eric Holder. I think you'll find out that they had their hands all in this, and the blue is going to come out showing that they've got the blue on them, and it's going to be bad. I hope that's what will happen because it will restore our faith in government, because right now it's kind of like, you know what, they're just so corrupt and spending our money like there's no tomorrow, and we aren't going to have a way out of it.
You know, I said also the first hour, I came home from the hospital yesterday with Deanne, and I came home and I had to be chief cook and bottle washer and feed myself, and I grabbed a bowl of cereal, and I was watching the news, and the ultimate in hypocrisy and stupidity came on television in the form of Senator Richard Blumenthal, who came up in front of the cameras and said, "I demand that we have honesty from the President of the United States. He is not above the law." And I thought, wait a minute. Hold the phone a moment. This is the same ridiculous, stupid Senator Richard Blumenthal that lied to the American people about his service in Vietnam, and he is the one clamoring for honesty? Did you see that?
Yes, and we should call him, who was it, Rumpelstiltskin, that fell asleep for 20 years? It sounds like he's been asleep for the last 18 months, not been paying attention to anything. This is just another ruse for him to try to point towards Donald Trump away from their party and all that's been going on. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff with the Democratic National Committee. There's the stuff with the Justice Department. I mean, if we stop and think of the Obama administration and you go back to the very first days of the administration when we had Fast and Furious and there were numbers of things like that, you know, and how they treated the Tea Party people and just harassed them to death and many other things that the Justice Department was doing to people instead of just enforcing the law. And I think this is Blumenthal's way of saying, well, we're going to point our finger at Trump and hope that everybody looks at it, and they're not looking at the whole big picture, because the big picture shows that we are really tainted.
You know, one other thing that was very unfair this past week, and again, Wheels, the little feedback there, please. Melania Trump had to go to the hospital for some surgery and some care on a pre-existing problem, and I pray that she's going to be all right. And there was minimal, if any, coverage of her being in the hospital and well wishes from anyone in the media. And I thought back, and I was wondering what would have been the same with Michelle Obama. Michelle Obama could have got a paper cut, and they would have called 911, and CNN would have run 35 hours in 2-day period of covering that with Michelle Obama. The inequity and fairness and, quite frankly, personality of the media has escaped me on the Trumps.
Oh, it has, and they just don't want to give the Trumps any kind of coverage at all that isn't negative. And the part that's sad about it is if it was Michelle Obama, it would be just like when the plane went down in over by New Zealand, and they had 4 or 5 days, 24 hours a day of that going, and nothing was happening, but they were there monitoring it and watching it for the slightest little thing, maybe a raise in the blood pressure or some little dinky thing like that. And it's just sad. We know that there's a double standard, and they're going to highlight everything they can with the people that they like, and the rest of them, they'll try to, say how, they're uncredible. They're not credible at all. He shouldn't even be our president because, and then they have excuses about it.
When I do the weather forecast, I'm going to come back, and I want to talk to you about Kristen Gillibrand, New York State Senator, and her absolutely man-hating comments. I want you to comment on that in just a moment. Right now, we're going to have our weather forecast coming up, and it's brought to you by our friends Phillips, Oaks, Goodwin, Crane, and Company, CPAs that have been serving you and the Mini-Cassia area for well over 50 years with the best of tax return preparation, tax planning, financial statement preparation, retirement planning, and the list goes on and on. They really serve you. Offices in Burley and Rupert. Get a hold of them today. Phillips, Oaks, Goodwin, Crane, and Company. Right now, here's the weather.
Kind of like a cookie-cutter weather forecast for the entirety of this week. Here's your weather forecast for Zebedee Ranch, and today, like pretty much every other day this week, we're looking at scattered showers and thunderstorms in the forecast, mostly in the afternoon hours, partly sunny skies, with a high right near 72. Winds today out of the southwest, right around 8 miles an hour. Tonight, scattered showers and thunderstorms in the forecast, mostly cloudy skies with a low of 48. Tomorrow, pretty much the same as today. Scattered showers and thunderstorms, partly sunny skies with a high of 70, overnight low of 47. Saturday, again, pretty much the same. Isolated rain showers and thunderstorms, mostly sunny skies with a high of 71. And Sunday, no change. 20% chance of showers and thunderstorms in the afternoon, mostly sunny, and a high of 73. That's your weather forecast for Zebedee.
Thank you very much, Gina. Appreciate it. Brought to everybody by Phillips, Oaks, Goodwin, Crane, and Company. And they thank you for your business during tax time, and they want to serve you all through the year with the very best of all the different things, bookkeeping and people starting a business or a corporation. Anyone that needs help, they're ready to serve you. Phillips, Oaks, Goodwin, Crane, and Company, providing accounting services to the Mini-Cassia area, as I said, for well over 50 years. Rita, there is a movement in this country that cannot be denied and not be overlooked. And I believe people like Elizabeth Warren and even Hillary Clinton and now this Kristen Gillibrand hate men. Why, we've got to get rid of men in our society. We don't need them. Women are better. The feminist approach, and now it even approaches politics to where she came out yesterday and said, well, there wouldn't have been a recession or any other problems in the world if women could throw men away and just do it themselves. What are your thoughts?
This is really sad when this happens because we know we can't have a society without a balance. I mean, I'm sorry to express my views on this, but this is God's plan that there were men and women and that you procreate and have children, and that's how your society continues on. And when you get people who think that they're more important than the other one and we need to just eradicate them, our society will end. And it's really sad to think that these ladies who are doing this, I wonder, do they have sons? What do their sons think of the way they're acting? I mean, do their sons feel like that their moms treated them like they weren't important at all because they were boys? I mean, it's just ridiculous, and I'm sorry to say, but our society has turned into kind of a thing where it's like we discount men and their views, and we've seen this in lots and lots of sitcoms, how men aren't important, or he's a dummy. You see it in advertising, and it's really sad because we need to show respect for each other.
There you go. You hit it right at the very end. Respect for each other. I mentioned that last hour, and I'm going to stand behind it. Men opening doors for ladies, opening the car door, helping her with her chair, a respect for each other with a certain place in society, and that's male and female genders. And to all the garbage of these idiots, and that's what they are, that are all the transgenders with 47 to 62 different genders, they are completely out of the norm and should be discarded. We need to get back to a male and female respect and do so in our society.
Well, I think that's absolutely right, and it just comes down to one thing, and that's treating each other decent. It doesn't matter whether you're male or female. I would like to add, and maybe this is a little bit off the rails, but a lot of those women who were calling for, we don't need the men, and we this, and the women are better, and da-da-da-da-da, a lot of times you look at those women and say, you know what, you're as ugly as a mud fence. No wonder you don't want men. They never paid attention to you anyway.
I can't tell you how much I appreciate your honesty, and that's exactly the way it is. I am so sick and tired of someone like Kristen Gillibrand and others. Rosie O'Donnell is another one of the pathetics. And this society where we're going to take over and we don't need men. Oh, come on, you bunch of Amazons. Head for the closet and lock the door.
Well, that's right, and I don't know about these women who they have do the honeydews around their house, but there's a lot of stuff around my home that I just don't know if I physically could do it, but my husband could, or my son-in-laws can, or my grandsons, but it's just not things that women can do a lot of times. I guess that maybe women can do everything, but there's just a lot of stuff that, and I'm pretty handy, that I just don't have the strength because I don't have the physical makeup that guys have. So as far as I'm concerned, there's men things and there's women things and there's things that everybody can do and that. But I shouldn't discount the reality of there are men and women, and we're all brothers and sisters, and this is what God planned for.
Absolutely. And, the one key word that comes into play in this conversation, or any conversation like this, is a respect for each other. Right now, I'm going through some anguish, worrying about my wife and her health, and absolutely, she is a stalwart of our family, and she's tough as nails, but boy, as her husband, I just am absolutely concerned. And I don't need some feminist like Kirsten Gillibrand or anybody else saying, oh, we don't need you, we can do it on our own. I love my wife, and I treat her as my partner and my best friend and also my spouse. And I look at these other, like I said a moment ago, Amazons, and I feel sorry for them.
Well, I really do, too, and I think a lot of it has to do with them feeling insecure because instead of bringing out their good points, they look at themselves and go, you're really ugly, but you don't need anybody else. And I just think that they're insecure in their own skin, and because of it, they want to belittle someone. And we'll belittle the men. That's our target.
Yeah. How would you like to wake up in the morning and look in the mirror and see looking at you, Rosie O'Donnell? That's the epitome of a bad day.
Yeah, that's pretty bad. When I look in the mirror, I always go, who is that old person I'm looking at?
Hey, I got to ask you, all of a sudden the last couple of days, there has been all of this conversation about two words and whether you hear one over the other. And have you heard this arbitration about whether you hear the word Laurel or Yanni? When I first heard that tape, I looked at Deanna and I said, well, I heard Laurel plain as day. And she said, I heard Yanni plain as day. What are your thoughts?
I've heard him talking about it, but I didn't ever really understand what the essence of it was, because I can hear both. I mean, if you say Yanni, I hear that. If you say Laurel, I hear that.
I couldn't hear Yanni at all.
I just don't get it. It must be something with your genetics. I don't have any idea.
Well, it's got to be something with the inner ear or the way the reverberation hits the ear itself. But I sat there, and they put it on television the other morning, and I said, well, that's obvious. I heard Laurel. And Deanne looked at me, and she said, no, I heard Yanni. And I thought, you've got to be kidding me. And they've played it I've heard it 30 times at least since then. I've always heard Laurel. So what's the split here? I just don't understand it.
Yeah, that's kind of weird. I guess I'll have to, I hear both. So
All right, I'm going to put you on a little test survey here. I want you to go listen and then call me back later on today and let me know what you hear, please.
Well, I'll see if I have time I can do that. It just seemed really bizarre. There must be nothing in news that people are talking about when you start doing this.
I appreciate you, Rita. I've got to run, but thank you so much for being on the program again this morning on a Thursday. I always look forward to it. Rita Ramsey, thank you very much.
Okay, thanks. Bye.
God bless. Thank you very much. Yanni or Laurel? All I heard was very distinctly the Laurel. I don't know. What about you folks? We'll talk about that maybe at 10:30 this morning. Right now it's time to tell you if you're hungry and starving to death, do I know some great places to go for lunch? Listen to this. How about the AC Drive-In? 601 East Main in Burley. Oh, my goodness. Shrimp and small fry, just $7. And of course, that famous Farmer Brown burger. Have you had a famous Farmer Brown burger with an order of fries and the sauce and maybe your favorite flavor of milkshake? Oh, knock your socks off. Delicious at the AC Drive-In, 601 East Main in Burley. Well, how about we move on over to Taco Bandito? Oh, my goodness, 2301 Overland in Burley. And I'm telling you, if you haven't had one of their breakfast burritos, you have been underprivileged in life, and you need to get over there tomorrow. Wow, they're good. Scrambled eggs, bacon and sausage, cheese, onions, tomatoes, and sauce on a tortilla shell. Look out. And then, of course, all the other items on the menu, phenomenal at Taco Bandito, 2301 Overland in Burley. Well, 2 locations of Burgers, etc. 124 South Oneida in Rupert and 700 Overland in Burley. Oh, they've got that medium spicy chicken combo with fries and drink, only $5. And every Sunday at the Burley location, shrimp dinner, only $5.99. And they got all the milkshake flavors and great people serving you. What are you waiting for? Get over there today to Burgers, etc. in Rupert and Burley. And last but not least, Steve-O's at 290 South, 600 west of Heyburn. Oh boy, the patio's open on Friday nights and live music on the weekends, and they got all the delicious buffalo burgers and the salads. Oh, it's a fun time with great food at Steve-O's at 290 South, 600 west of Heyburn, and nice people serving you. Open Monday to Saturday, 11 to 9. Don't forget Steve-O's in Heyburn, and those are just a few great places to go if you're hungry and starving to death. My lovely bride just walked in the door, and my daughter, I want to say thanks to Toby for going to get her this morning from the hospital. I cannot wait to visit with her, and we're going to come back, and we've got a whole bunch of things coming up next half hour. Cassia County School Days, and then we've got our business salute, and then at 10:30 it's going to be kind of a open forum potpourri, because my guest this morning early said, "Oh, I can't come on the radio, I got a sore throat." I mean, why? Come on, I got a sore throat too. Get a paper cut, call 911. Anyway, we'll have an open forum at 10:30, and I'd love to have your calls about any subject you want to talk about. So there you go. We're going to head up to the news right now from CBS. Wheels going to play a little music for us, and we'll be back in about 7 to 8 minutes. Don't go away. Zeb at the Ranch on a Thursday. Oh, good morning, good morning, good morning. Goober's back home. All is well in Bell City. Thank you very much. And, of course, right now I'd like to say thank you. Zeb at the Ranch brought to you by our major sponsor, your Magic Valley. Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations, telling you they're ready to help you get on a road trip with the best of tires. Stop in and see them today. Along with some of our great advertisers, including Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation, 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley, helping you get back to being you. I also want to remind you about our dear old buddy, Scott Gano. Hello, Scott, Landscaping and Tree Trimming Service. You better believe it, at 336 South, 450 west of Heyburn. Number to call, 431-8733. We've had a ton of wind and a lot of branches breaking off and everything, and hey, their crew can help you with all the tree and shrub damage. Don't forget that. And for all of your landscaping ideas, don't forget to give them a call. Scott Gano Landscaping and Tree Trimming Service in Heyburn. And that number again, 431-8733. You call them today. Wow. We've got a lot of things going on, and your calls and thoughts and everything are welcome at 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Once again, I want to reiterate, we are not we are not going to have lunch bunch today. Most of you are aware and realize that Deanne had a little stint in the hospital, and so therefore everything was kind of thrown up in the air like potato chips in the wind, and so therefore we're going to have to reschedule. So our lunch bunch will not take place today. I just want to reiterate that one more time. I want to also quickly mention before I go to Cassia County School Days, and my good buddy George Mass sent me the 4th annual Idaho Roll Call Memorial Ride is going to take place on June 2nd, starting at 7th and Scott in Rupert, and they're going to have a program and everything else, and we're going to be telling you much more about that in future programs, and also have George and possibly some others on the show, so don't forget about that. Cassia County School Days is brought to you by two great sponsors, and I mean that. We're very fortunate to have a Child's World at 1308 Overland in Burley, and they've got all the children's clothing, and they've got all the baby furniture, and they've got the 5-piece boys suits starting at size 2 for just $52. Holy moly, you better stop in. And for us adults, they've got all those comfy Cherokee scrubs. They've got it all right there for you at a Child's World, 1308 Overland in Burley. And the other sponsor is Ambulatory Surgery Center at 1344 Highland in Burley for your outpatient surgeries, and they can and they will save you money. Absolutely. Life-saving colonoscopies, knee surgeries, everything else. I urge you to give them a call and find out more. 677-8888. That number again, 677-8888. Ambulatory Surgery Center and a Child's World, bringing you School Days in Cassia County. I believe this lady has been on the phone with us before, and she is the director for the after-school programs, I believe, for Cassia County. Katie Mueller, how are you?
Great. How are you this morning?
I am peachy. Have you or have you not been on the program with me before? Help me.
I have. It's been maybe a year, so it's nice.
Well, I'm an old man, so you're going to have to jog my memory a little bit.
No problem. So our school district applied for a grant 3 years ago with the 21st Century Program, and we received that grant to serve 4 schools in our school district. And then a year later, we applied for the same grant to serve 2 additional schools in our school district. So we have an after-school program at 6 of our schools in Cassia County School District.
Okay, now let's go from point A and get to point Z in just a few minutes. After-school program, what the dickens does that mean?
So it means that once the kiddos finish their school day, we are able to provide some services for those students that need some help or somewhere to go after school. Here in Cassia County, some people have started calling it out of school time instead of after school, because they don't only offer homework help. We offer a variety of activities in addition to that.
Okay, but now may I play devil's advocate with you a little bit on these programs and get your response? To me, as a dad and a grandparent, it almost sounds like the school system has to offer a babysitting service because the parents are not there to take care of the children. How does that, what would you say in response to that?
So that's not entirely true for all of the students that attend the after-school program, and that's why we try to promote it as being an out-of-school time program instead of after-school. Yes, a lot of the parents do work. Some of the parents don't work. We are not a babysitting service. We do offer the services to high poverty and low performing schools and students, and we try to meet the standards that the state has and also our local standards. So some of the way that we are able to show people like you, we do a beginning of the year, we take their test scores from the beginning of the year and at the end of the year and try and show the academic growth. So they're not just coming and not doing anything. We are a very structured program.
Well, I can understand that, and people like me, I'm just being a little tongue-in-cheek with what you said.
Yes.
I think people like me have a right to question and not take everything en masse and swallow it whole without asking questions, because I think sometimes, and I will stand behind this statement, that there is an abuse of the system to where the school does turn into a babysitter because parents have been lax on taking care of their kids. I will also agree that maybe this is a good program to help kids that have questions, that maybe are a little shy in class, that maybe could have and need some one-on-one tutoring. So you pick it up from there.
Yeah, we love questions. We love parent involvement. We love the student involvement. So we love to share everything about our program. One of our aspects of our program is I don't want to say requirement, because we don't require families to attend events, but we offer family events because we want us to be a community family, and we want to offer opportunities for the students and their families to play together and learn together and have those opportunities to be together or to learn together, such as nutrition and healthy living, which, is a really hard thing nowadays when, yes, we should eat healthy, but it's so easy to buy processed food. And that's a whole other story, isn't it?
Well, it is, but then on the other hand, give me a structured day in the after-school program. I mean, is it for all grades? Is it for kind of an en masse situation, maybe second graders, maybe sitting there with eighth graders or even above? Give us some parameters.
Okay, so this is a little bit overwhelming. We have after-school programs at Declo Elementary School, which is a K-5 school, and Declo Junior High School, which is a 6-8 school. We also have programs at White Pine, 4th through 6th grade, Burley Junior High, 7th, 8th grade, Floor Shack, and Mountain View, which is hosted at John Evans right now, which are K through 3 grades. So they're located at 6 different sites. We also offer a healthy snack after they're let out of the school day, after the end of day bell rings, and then we go into a little physical activity to get their bodies moving, and then we usually rotate into homework time, where we assist them with their homework, have any questions answered, help them with reading or literacy. And then our final hour, it usually is about an hour, is our fun time. That's when we get to do our enrichment activities that the kids may not have time to do in their school day classroom, or maybe even the funding. So that's when we get the science, fun, exploding activities. You put the Mento in the big Diet Coke bottle or other activities like that.
Well, how do they opt in or opt out of this program? I mean, do you as a teacher, not you personally, but the teacher in the classrooms, do they give the names and ask if those kids can stay after school? Who makes the decision that they're going to be staying there for an after-school program?
That's a great question. There are many ways that we can have students attend the program. There's open enrollment, just as in the school district. They do need to attend one of those 6 schools that I mentioned, and they have to attend that program at that school they attend, because that is the parameters of the grant and our funding. A parent can request a child to attend. A teacher can refer. A principal can refer. We have many options. We try and serve all of the children that want to enroll in the program. Sometimes there is a wait list. But there is a lot of turnover because we have a very active community and a lot of community support. So maybe during the fall, a lot of the students aren't interested in playing the sport that's offered at the school or in the community, and they attend the after-school program during that time. But the spring, their sporting activity opens up, or they have a lot of scouting activities, and they'll stop the after-school program and go into the other activities that are offered to the community. And that way we can bring in the other children that wanted to attend the program that were either busy during that time or weren't able to attend because of our numbers that we had.
Katie, let me ask you this. You said it's a 2-hour program. Am I right in that, or am I wrong?
It's a 3 3-hour program.
Okay, 3-hour program. So basically you're looking at these children staying on the school grounds until 6 o'clock in the evening in a round figure. Now, are the parents liable for coming and getting their children at that time, or is there a rerunning of the kids on the bus route to take them home?
No, we do not offer transportation for the students home. The parents are responsible to come and pick up their children when the program ends, or if the students are fortunate enough to live nearby, they are able to walk home. Or, we encourage carpooling with parents to make it possible for the students to attend.
Now, I can imagine that's great in the summer hours, spring hours, if you will, with the elongation of the daylight. But what about in the winter months? I mean, going home at 6 o'clock, you're going home in the dark.
They are. They're going home in the dark. The kids usually don't walk home in the dark. If they have to walk home in the dark, we actually release them earlier because of safety reasons, of course, and we want them to be safe out there or warm. But usually we don't have any problems with the parents being able to pick up their students or children from the program because the parents are normally getting off of work around 5 or 6.
Are you seeing better GPAs, better grades, better attentiveness in class because of this program with the students that go to the after-school program?
We always hope that we can say yes, absolutely. Each end of school year, I run a teacher survey that the teachers fill out. And I have to say this, sometimes I hate to even ask the teachers to do that because it's one more thing on their plate to do. But, for example, I hear stories all the time from teachers say, wow, this program has really helped the student even become more social in the classroom that I have noticed. Or he's feeling better about himself because of the after-school program. Yes, his grade, he's able to have somewhere where he can do his homework and get his homework done because if he is getting picked up at 6 and has a drive even till 6:30 to get home and then dinner, it's hard to get that homework done. And honestly, homework is hard for students and for parents. I'm a mother, and my youngest is a freshman in high school, and I can't even imagine helping him with his homework. I did when they were younger, and it was hard enough. These kids have a hard time with their homework.
Well, Katie, let me say something in that regard, and you as a teacher and involved in education, you may not like this, but I think the school systems have overburdened, in general, the students today with homework and have taken away from any particular chance at family time. I'm going to stand behind that statement.
Yeah, I agree with you in some aspects. I think reading is still very important, and I feel very strongly of a parent should be able to read with their child every day, be it after school, during dinner time at the family table, before bedtime, because I think the literacy is so important. Now, the other type of homework, which is important too, it is overwhelming, and it can cause a lot of stress in families' life. I agree with you.
Well,
I think that's where families need to prioritize what is the most important for them and for their family and stand by their values like you stand by yours.
Katie, tell us real quick, a thumbnail minute, if you will, about what you'd really like parents and the people listening to this program to know and remember about the after-school program. I've got 1 minute left. Go ahead.
Well, I'm going to do a quick plug for our summer program that starts June 11th through the 22nd. It runs Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. at John Evans Elementary. If they want to sign up their child that attends any of those 6 schools, they can visit the Cassia School District webpage and sign their child up to attend that program. For the 2 weeks, we offer math, English, science, technology, engineering, art, lots of fun things this summer going on. We take a couple of field trips. They can always call the district office if they have questions, too. But the most important thing is to remember that we offer a safe environment for students, and but that want to learn more or that need a little bit more help in their life.
All right. We've been visiting with Katie Mueller, and she is the director of the after-school programs for the Cassia County region. I say thank you very much, and please come back, Katie. I appreciate your openness and frankness on this issue. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Zeb.
All right. Take care. Very nice lady, and the after-school program, and we say thank you for her being on Cassia County School Days, brought to you by A Child's World at 1308 Overland in Burley, and also the Ambulatory Surgery Center at 1344 Highland in Burley. Number to call 677-8888. Don't forget to Irvana is defined as the ultimate level of comfort you'll achieve with the presence of a new Lennox home comfort system. When you buy a new Lennox system at Ramsey Heating and Electric, you can get up to $1,700 in rebates. Irvana is just another way to make you feel better. So call Ramsey Heating and Electric at 678-0459 or go to their website, ramseysonline.com. We haven't had this guy on the program, and I'm looking forward to learning more about their service to you, and that's going over to Dino's Septic Service in Rupert. Here's Ken. Good morning, Ken. How are you?
Good, Zeb. How are you this morning?
Well, not too bad. Doggone it, it's good to have you on the program here this morning. And we called you folks about, a little less than a year ago, and you came over and helped us with our septic system. And basically on the ads, I'm telling everybody, you folks at Dino's do the job that none of us want to get involved in. Tell us some of the highlights of what you do to serve the public.
You know, Zeb, mostly with the Dino's business, we pump septic tanks, rebuild sewer systems, build brand new sewer systems. We repair sewer lines in the city, water lines in the city, anything that, just like you say, most people don't want to do, we'll do it.
Well, how in the world did you get involved in this kind of a business? I mean, while the rest of us want to stay indoors and stay warm and cozy, you and the people that work for you, you're out there doing the smelly job of putting everything back in order. How'd you get started doing this?
You know, Zeb, it was my father-in-law's business. That's Robert Dino. That's where the name comes from, and I purchased the business from him in 2003, and we've been running with it. We're going into our 16th year. You know, it's just been a great opportunity for me and my family and our families. And, you know, it's a family business mostly, and that's the way we intend to keep it and just keep it running right along.
I got to tell you that when you had your people come over here to help us, I mean, it was fast, it was fair, it was friendly service, and I got to tell you that every single time I do your advertisement on my program and I talk about that big truck smells cargo, I love that. Where did you come up with that idea?
You know, ever since I've been in the business, and it's more back in the email days, kind of transferred into Facebook, but anybody that had a picture of a truck with a slogan of some kind on it got sent to me. And I thought, you know, I don't want to use somebody else's slogan, so I just come up with it and ran with it and had the graphics company make that big label for the side of it, and it's actually been kind of a fun thing on there.
Absolutely. You know, what are the hours that you want people to know that you're open, and the telephone numbers and the area served? Give us all that information, please, Ken.
You know, we'll run 12 to 14 hours a day. Everybody needs a weekend off, but if we need to service somebody on a weekend, we will take care of it, and we will go right. We just keep right on going.
Okay.
But we like I said, we can't just stick to an 8-hour day. Most of the time we stick to the hours that the sun's shining. So it can vary a lot, but anytime somebody needs something done and they give us a call, we'll take care of it or see to it that they get taken care of one way or the other.
Okay. And what are the most critical telephone numbers for them to put on the refrigerator or right by the phone? Because it always happens at an inopportune time. They need to get a hold of you in a hurry. What are the best numbers?
You know, the very best number is 208-436-6526.
And if for any reason that doesn't work, 208-431-6526, and I will answer that phone. That's my cell phone. I have it either on me or beside me 24/7.
All right. Well, I want to tell you, first of all, how much I thank you for being on our program for a long period of time. I've enjoyed doing the advertising for you. And Dino Septic Service and Rupert Kent, I wish you nothing but the best of success in the future. And keep the wheels going on that Smells Cargo on the way.
Well, all righty. Thank you very much for having us this morning, Zeb, and you have a great day.
God bless you, man. Thanks so much. Really nice people serving you over at Dino Septic Service in Rupert. Again, those numbers, 436-6526, or in Burley, 678-1638. Boy, I can tell you what, they do a great service. Great service. There's going to be a big sale. Let me see. I got to get this on here real quick. And it is managed by the Bennett Boys Auction Service. It's going to be this coming Saturday, and it's going to be over in Gooding. It's the Nano Crespo Estate Auction. It's going to start at 11 o'clock on Saturday morning, and it's located at 2158 East, 1700 South of Gooding. Watch for the sale signs for the Bennett Boys Auction Service. There's going to be tractors and trucks and farm machinery and all kinds of goodies over there, so don't miss it. That's coming up this Saturday starting at 11 o'clock, the Nano Crespo Estate Auction, managed by the Bennett Boys Auction Service. Remember, Joe Bennett and the crew, no sale too big, no sale too small. The Bennett Boys, yep, they sell them all. Coming up after the break at the bottom of the hour, we're going to have an open forum, and we'd really appreciate your phone calls. I am a happy camper. My lovely bride, Toby, thank you if you're listening right now. My daughter, Toby, went and got Deanne from the hospital, and she's home. And all is well in Bellland, and Ruby the dog, I can tell you this much, Ruby the dog is a happy camper. I don't think Ruby liked me taking care of her too much. She sat by the back door, and she says, "Where's the boss of the house?" And finally, Deanne walked in. We're going to send it back over to Wheels and the rest of the outfit, and we'll be back in about 3 minutes. Don't go away.
And now, back to Zeb at the Ranch on AM 1230 KBAR. To reach Zeb, call 436-2244 or toll free 1-866-927-4587. And now, here is Zeb.
Oh, thank you. And calls are welcome. Give me a jingle on the landline. This half hour is yours. We'll discuss anything you want to talk about. Please call me at 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. And I had a guest planned for this half hour, and they said, "I got a sore throat, I can't do it." Well, yeah, whoopee, go gargle. Anyway, so the time is open. Give us a jingle on the landline, 436-2244. How many of you were listening last hour, maybe you heard me ask Rita Ramsey about this, but now, for some reason, the words Laurel or Yanni have taken the forefront of almost every newscast I have heard on the tapes, on the newscasts. Is it Laurel or is it Yanni that you hear? And I can't even imagine. It was so plain to me. I heard Laurel, and I thought, well, that's a slam dunk. I mean, for heaven's sakes, they were saying Laurel. But then my bride of 46 years was sitting in the living room, and she said, "No, I heard Yanni." What is it with this? Some kind of a hearing illusion? What do you folks hear? I'd like to have some people call me that have listened to those newscasts, and for some reason, I don't see the discrepancy at all. I don't even see how it can even be close to being Yanni. I heard Laurel very distinctly and clear with an R sound and an L sound. What about you folks out in the audience? Give me a call at 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
I heard the same thing you did. I heard Laurel, and my wife heard Yanni.
Are you kidding me? Your wife said the same as mine?
Exact. I think must be the chromosomes.
I'm absolutely mystified by this, Doug, because I listened, I wanted to be objective, I wanted to be open-minded for a period of time, and I said, absolutely anybody that hears Yanni, they got a problem with their hearing aids.
That's what I thought, because I hear Laurel just as plain. I can't even begin to make Yanni out of it.
I don't hear any kind of a sound except the L at the beginning of Laurel, then in the middle a very distinctive R sound, and an N, or ending with an L at the end of it. And my wife looked at me and she said, "No, I heard Yanni."
Well, it was like we in the Shadow household. It's the same thing at my place.
Your wife, did she listen to it on numerous occasions, or did she say, "Doug, you're crazy, it's Yanni"?
Well, basically that's what she said, but she did listen to it on several occasions.
And never heard the word Laurel?
Never.
I am absolutely blown out of the saddle with that. I can't understand it.
I can't either, because I'm going, how can you get Yanni out of "la"?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or in the middle, the R sound with the R, Laurel. Holy cow. Well, it looks like your wife and my wife are related.
They're on the same wavelength anyway.
We'll call them the Yannis.
Yeah, they got the same taste. Their taste is a little questionable in their men. Our taste is excellent.
I wouldn't go there if I were you.
Okay.
Hey, I got a quick question for you while you're on the air.
Yes, sir.
Do you believe in private property rights? And if you want to build something on your property and you're not building anything completely out of the norm, etc., that you should be allowed to have that on your home?
You should, as long as you're not going up 20 stories and, stuff like that.
Well, my question is this. California, these nincompoops in California passing that new solar roof law, how do they get that through in their state to force, coerce, and arm twist private property owners building a home to absorb absolutely sky-high costs of putting a solar roof on their home? How do they get away with that?
Well, first off, they're California.
Yeah, that's true, too.
Land of fruits and nuts.
There you go.
And also, I heard more on that when you do put these solar panels on there, if you do a lease on them or something like that, you sell the home, you are still responsible for that lease of those solar panels.
I heard that the other day, and then there's something else about these solar panels that absolutely lends itself to being defined as idiocy. Do you realize that they have nowhere to go with the power generated by those solar panels? They don't have any need for it.
No, you can't put it back into the system.
There you go.
So, and also, too, these environmentalists need to take a look on how much material and carbon dioxide they're putting in the air to create these panels or to create these wind turbines. They will never live long enough to balance out.
No, and that's true. What you said is 100% true. And actually, with the solar panels being forced and coerced and kind of a Gestapo attitude in California, it is going to increase electricity prices and transfer the wealth only to the wealthy. But the main problem is they can't store that electricity and they can't sell it, and it's a waste.
Exactly. That's exactly it. This is crony capitalism taking care of their buddies who has a solar farm, who's got money from the federal government in grants to do this solar stuff and forcing the sale on to other people.
And it's exactly the same as the wind-powered turbines coercing and arm twisting like our own Idaho Power. Thou shalt buy it no matter what the cost.
Exactly. Same way with the ethanol. And have you noticed they got ethanol-free gas that's 30 cents more than the ethanol gas?
It's called ripping Doug and Zebby's billfold.
Exactly. I mean, this is, it's unthinkable what we've let our government do to us. We don't have freedoms in America like we should.
Well, the old adage at the end of my program, the way things were, the way things ought to be, you wouldn't believe the amount of criticism I get on that slogan, but really it's the truth. Back in the day when I was maybe a teenager or in my early 20s, the freedoms and the exercise of our freedoms was much more prominent in America than it is today because we turned into a nation of sheep.
Exactly. Exactly. We had more freedoms back then. That used to be you didn't even have to buy a fishing license. You didn't have to buy a hunting license.
I don't mind. I'm going to stop you right there. I don't mind supporting the Idaho fishing game or any fishing game because I want to see that things are regulated to the point where we don't have illegality. But I tell you what, I'm sick and tired of like what's happening in the energy business. We are absolutely being robbed.
And being forced to do it.
Absolutely. Doug, thank you for your call.
God bless.
Thank you, sir.
I got your heart rate up.
You did a good job. Thank you very much. Caller number 2, you're on the air. Go ahead, please.
Well, if you really want to get mad, I can tell you something, and that is, in the state of California, by 2020, every new constructed house will have solar panels on it.
Well, that's what we're talking about. That's what I've been talking about. This California solar roof law is absolutely, to me, it's a denigration against private property rights. It's an arm twisting to make you pay for something that is not going to be cost efficient. It's going to be much more expensive. It's not going to save anything. Actually, it's going to contribute more to a negative environment. It's stupid.
Well, and what's it going to do to the California Power Company? Nothing.
Well, the thing is, Keith, the energy, and listen to this because it's the truth. The electricity in California has increased 5 times, and this energy created by these so-called solar panels is going to be wasted. They have nowhere to go with it. It can't be stored, and it's a waste of money. It's a waste of the homeowner's money to build the home. It's an absolute ridiculous, stupid waste.
Well, there's a solution. They all moved to Idaho.
Well, there's a solution, and it's called going to Sacramento with pitchforks and telling the legislature, and especially Jerry Brown, the governor, to take a very leaky draft pier and jump in the ocean.
Good idea.
All right, my friend. God bless you. Thank you for your call.
Bye.
I was listening to a panel yesterday that was visiting with President Trump while I was in the room in the hospital watching and listening while my lovely bride was taking a nap. And it was from various mayors and leaders of various towns in California, and they are mad. Rightfully so. They absolutely had nothing good to say about the state of California. They absolutely had nothing good to say about sanctuary cities and sanctuary laws and the idiocy, and that's what it is, of sanctuary policies. They had nothing to say good about Governor Jerry Brown. If I were Governor Jerry Brown, in a state of, what is California, approximately 28 million people, and it's estimated by the polls that they've run down there and everything that over half of the population is absolutely, like I said a moment ago, ready to pick up pitchforks and go to Sacramento and say, out of town, boys. I'd be a little concerned. Because many, many towns that I have been to, many towns that I've been announcing rodeos at in the past, they said that's enough. Excuse me, no more with the ridiculous sanctuary city policies that protect felons, illegal alien felons over and above the citizenry, and they said that's enough. And then you combine the lawlessness in the state of California and the drug abuse and all the illegal aliens living on the street, the filthiness, and then the coercion by the California people and the legislature to say, thou shalt not build a home unless it has the solar roof panels. I would just tell them, I think we all need to tell them. Got to be careful on the verbiage here. But simply put, no. Your thoughts would be appreciated. Give me a call, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. I got to tell you another story that just absolutely it boggles my mind. It boggles my mind. And it's about the millennial generation, 18 to like 30-year-olds, and an interview on a survey about what they would rather prefer to date. We're going to talk about that in a little bit. Calls welcome. Let's get the weather in here right now, sponsored by Scarro's Meats. Don Scarrow and the rest of the crew at 331 North Road, Jerome. Oh, or go to their website and just drool at the delicious meats available to you. ScarrowsMeats.com. All the smoked hams and the marinated prime ribs, and the bacons and the breakfast sausages and the bratwurst, all of this and so much more at Scarrow's Meats, 331 North Road, Jerome. That number again, 324-7657. Right now, here's Gina with the weather.
Kind of like a cookie-cutter weather forecast for the entirety of this week. Here's your weather forecast for Zebedee Ranch, and today, like pretty much every other day this week, we're looking at scattered showers and thunderstorms in the forecast, mostly in the afternoon hours, partly sunny skies, with a high right near 72. Winds today out of the southwest, right around 8 miles an hour. Tonight, scattered showers and thunderstorms in the forecast, mostly cloudy skies with a low of 48. Tomorrow, pretty much the same as today. Scattered showers and thunderstorms, partly sunny skies with a high of 70. Overnight low of 47. Saturday, again, pretty much the same. Isolated rain showers and thunderstorms, mostly sunny skies with a high of 71. And Sunday, no change. 20% chance of showers and thunderstorms in the afternoon, mostly sunny, and a high of 73. That's your weather forecast for Zebedee Ranch.
And thank you, Gina. Brought to everybody by Scarrow's Meats, 331 North Road, Jerome, and Don Scarrow and the rest of the crew. They are changing the way we eat, one delicious bite at a time. Oh, please give me a call, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. I'd certainly like to talk to you about any subject matter that we have talked about, except this one this morning. We haven't got into this one yet. I was hurriedly getting ready for the program this morning, and without the assistance of my lovely bride, and I overheard a story about the millennials. Men and women 18 to 30 were taking a poll, a survey, and they were asked, and this is one of the dumbest, idiotic questions I've heard of, but it shocked me as to the bulk of the answers. Who would they rather date? A convicted felon or a Trump supporter? I'm not making this up. Who would they rather date, a convicted felon or a Trump supporter? And you know that almost all of these nincompoops and nitwits that they interviewed said, "Oh, I'd much rather date a convicted felon than I would a Trump supporter." How dumb are these young people? Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Can I change the subject a little bit?
No.
Why?
Because I'm on a roll here. What do you want, Keith? Go ahead. Go ahead. It's my program. You pay the bills. You pick the subject.
Well, I think the subject you're on is the right track, because felons should be treated like felons. That's what the word means.
Yeah, wait a minute. Stop right there. You just said, just a minute, you said something very important that triggers more of a conversation. When you're talking about convicted felons, you're talking about murderers, you're talking about child abusers, you're talking about rapists, and these nincompoops, know-nothing millennials are saying, well, I'd rather date a convicted felon than a Trump supporter. What does that tell you about the younger generation that's going to try to take over this world, this country?
It's real scary, Zeb. Real scary.
Okay, now I'm going to let you play with the subject you wanted to bring up. Go ahead.
Okay, this thing that they advertise on the radio and TV every 5 or 10 minutes is MediShare.
Uh-huh.
What do you know about MediShare?
Nothing. And I'm not one of these talk show hosts that's going to sit there and give you a bunch of blarney and other words regarding subjects that they know nothing about. I'm not going to get into the MediShare issue until I really have a complete evaluation of it. As a matter of fact, next week on the program, I'm going to have, I think she's scheduled for next week, the lovely doctor from Georgia that we usually have talking about Obamacare, MediShare, etc. And we're going to have her on the program to discuss it. But for me to sit here and give you all kinds of things about a subject I know nothing about, I would be lying to you, and I'm not about to do that to my audience.
Okay. Let's talk about HMOs.
All right.
What is your opinion there?
Like I said, Keith, I've got a lot of opinions on healthcare and the changing of healthcare, the changing of the guard, if you will, and what needs to be constructed to give better service to America. I don't consider myself qualified. I'd much rather have these people on my program and discuss this next week. Then, at that juncture, you can call and ask them questions and really learn something. This is a topic that I don't know that much about, and I'm not going to get into it and blow smoke.
Well, let me give your audience a warning. HMOs are, in my estimation, are a terrible thing, and if your hospital that you go to is not an HMO, and they are, that's the only one they're going to honor.
Yeah, yeah.
I can testify this because I've seen it happen to one of my relatives recently. They went to Las Vegas for the winter, and because they had an HMO, they had to pay the bill.
Yeah.
$100,000.
Yeah. You know, Keith, I heard a comment that was made nationally by a Democrat this past week on Monday. And I just stopped in my tracks and looked at the TV set, and I thought, wow. This Democratic congressman said, hey, we're going to continue to support the failures of health care so that eventually we can get single-payer insurance in America. And that stopped me right in my tracks and chilled me, because absolutely the Democrats have made such a mistake out of Obamacare, and now we're suffering trying to get this thing righted, and there's a lot of people that say we need to do this, that, and the other. And my fear for you, me, my kids, my grandkids, is that if we went to a single-payer insurance program in this country, it would be the end of health care as we know it today.
Well, all I can say about this is if you do have an HOM, or whatever it is,
HMO,
that you need to talk to an insurance specialist and see what they say.
Yeah. I'm just afraid that the personal touch, like what we witnessed the last couple of days with my wife, Deanne, I'm really afraid the personal touch with the doctors and the specialists and the nurses and the medical staff is going to be very, very dim on the horizon. And a one-size-fits-all, and that's to the denigration of our complete society. I'm going to fight as much as I can against that, but Keith, I can't do it by myself.
Well, anytime I can chip in on this, I want to, because a $100,000 bill is impossible for this family to...
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. The medical costs today, with the pharmaceutical costs and everything else, are absolutely outrageous, and it's a sin. It's a sin against your family and my family. If I were to, I'm not going to do this, but if I were to tell you what we have to spend a month on Deanne's medication and mine, holy cow, that's why this old fat boy's working at 70 years of age.
If you believe that this HMO is the right thing, you can not call anybody, because in this particular case I was telling you about, the HMO that they have is laughing.
Yeah.
Because it's not going to cost them a dime.
Keith, I appreciate your comments.
Right.
I appreciate your comments, and I am diligently going to get that on the air this night. I think it's Wednesday of next week, but please bear with me, and I appreciate your comments. Thank you very much.
Go get them, Tiger.
All right, take care. Thank you. I'm Dr. I can't remember her name, Dr. George, her first name, from Georgia. I've got her scheduled, and I can't remember what day next week, so don't miss that. Want to remind you, while we have the chance, of our major sponsor, and that's your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. All seven. And if you're planning on a road trip, get out of Dodge. Don't forget, they've got all the tires for your car, pickup, SUV, horse trailer, boat trailer, whatever. And please stop in and let them offer to you a free pre-trip safety check, checking your tires and your brakes and your wheel alignment, front-end components, shocks and struts, etc. Please, they offer that free at your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. all 7 locations, and the very best in brake service with highly trained brake technicians. Thank you very much for what they do. Your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, Lane and Rupert, Dave on Blue Lakes and Twin, Mike and Buell, Mike and Jerome, the Twist family in Paul, Daniel on Poline in Twin Falls, and Randy on Overland in Burley. They're the best. Not brag. That's a fact. Your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. Again, I want to thank you, the audience, for your kindness. Man, I tell you what, this program, I've got some of the greatest, sweetest friends in the world, and all of your kind wishes and your thoughts and everything. Thank you very much for my lovely wife, Deanne. And we're going to kind of wrap it up and put it back in the box for this week and plan on a brighter next week right here on Zebeth Ranch. And, of course, streaming live on zebbell.com all over the world, and then right here locally, KBAR 1230 AM, where we always end the program with this slogan, and I think it's more true today than ever before. The way things were are the way things ought to be. My thanks to Kim Lee and Gina and Wheels and everybody that kind of covered for me while I was gone yesterday. God bless you all, and we'll see you Monday at 8:06 right here on Zebeth Ranch. Have a good weekend.